Meow, my friends. Chrystia Freeland has resigned as Canada's finance minister, leaving Justin Trudeau's government in shambles, faster than you can say maple syrup crisis. On December 16th, 2024, Freeland dropped a political bombshell, abandoning ship just hours before she was set to unveil a fall economic update. And let me tell you, that update was about as pretty as a moose in a tutu. The projected budget deficit? A whopping $61.9 billion. That's not just overshooting the target, that's launching it into orbit and waving goodbye as it floats past the International Space Station. It's a far cry from Freeland's previous target of $40.1 billion. Apparently, fiscal responsibility decided to take a holiday in the Yukon. Freeland, once Trudeau's economic wingwoman, has flown the coop faster than a Canadian goose during winter migration, citing irreconcilable differences over economic policy. In her resignation letter, she criticised what she called costly political gimmicks and emphasised the need to preserve fiscal reserves, because nothing says responsible governance like treating the national budget like a magic hat trick, eh? Now, with Trump threatening 25% tariffs on Canadian exports, Canada's economy could soon look like a hockey player after a particularly nasty face-off, bruised, battered and missing a few teeth. Analysts are predicting a 2.5% GDP contraction and 7.2% inflation if these tariffs hit. In layman's terms, that's like your wallet going on a crash diet while prices hit the all-you-can-eat buffet. Enter Dominic LeBlanc, Trudeau's new economic gladiator, tasked with battling budget deficits and Trump's tariffs, while probably wishing he could just hide in an igloo until this all blows over. LeBlanc and Trudeau go way back, so far back, they probably shared crayons in kindergarten. Let's hope they're better at sharing economic strategies than they were at sharing toys. The Liberal Party is about as united as a group of cats at a dog show, with MPs calling for Trudeau's resignation faster than you can say Poutine Parliament. Anthony Housefather, a Liberal MP, went as far as to say Trudeau has passed his shelf life. Ouch! That's colder than a Yukon winter. It's like a political game of musical chairs. And someone just stole all the seats. As if Trudeau didn't have enough on his plate, he's also juggling a diplomatic spat with India. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while riding a moose. Chaotic, slightly ridiculous, and very, very Canadian. The whole situation stems from accusations that India was involved in the assassination of a Sikh activist on Canadian soil. Because juggling economic crises wasn't enough of a challenge, Trudeau decided to spice things up with a dash of international espionage drama. Talk about international relations gone sour, eh? Freeland, the architect of the USMCA, or as I like to call it, NAFTA 2, Electric Boogaloo, has left the building, taking her trade negotiation skills with her. With her gone, Canada-US relations could become as frosty as a Yukon winter. Trump might just build that wall after all. On the northern border, Canada might need to diversify its exports. Anyone interested in bulk shipments of maple syrup and apologies? If you're enjoying this rollercoaster of Canadian political drama, hit that like button faster than Trudeau can say I'm sorry, which, let's face it, is pretty darn fast. And while you're at it, why not subscribe? It's free, unlike the cost of these economic shenanigans to the average Canadian taxpayer. In true Canadian fashion, Freeland apologised for resigning. She's probably somewhere right meow, sipping Tim Hortons and writing sorry notes to every citizen personally. Meanwhile, Canadians are reacting to this news with their usual blend of polite concern and passive-aggressive maple syrup consumption. Social media is buzzing with hashtags like #FreelandFarewell and #TrudeauTroubles, proving that even in crisis, Canadians maintain their reputation for politeness and wit. If these tariffs hit, Canada's economy might need more than universal healthcare to recover. We're talking economic intensive care with a side of fiscal life support. The average Canadian might find themselves paying more for everything from cars to ketchup chips. It's enough to make even the most polite Canadian consider not saying sorry for once. And let's not forget, Freeland chose to resign just before presenting the economic update. Talk about dropping the mic, or in this case, the calculator. The timing couldn't be worse for Trudeau. With approval ratings lower than the temperature in Nunavut in January, he's facing calls to step down from both opposition leaders and members of his own party. At least the polar bears are still fans. The long-term implications for the Liberal Party are about as clear as a Toronto smog alert. Some are speculating about potential leadership changes, with names being tossed around like hockey pucks at a Stanley Cup final. The party's unity is shakier than a Newfoundland fisherman's legs during a storm. So, what's next for Canada? Well, my friends, it's anyone's guess. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be about as smooth as a lumberjack's beard. As Canadians brace for economic turbulence, they might want to stock up on more than just maple syrup and hockey pucks. Maybe throw in some economic shock absorbers while they're at it. In the meantime, Dominic LeBlanc has his work cut out for him. He's stepping into Freeland's shoes at a time when the economy is about as stable as a moose on roller skates. Good luck, mate. You're going to need it. He'll be juggling economic negotiations with the US, while trying to keep Canada's automotive, energy and manufacturing sectors from going into cardiac arrest. And that's the news from the Great White North, where the politics are messy, the apologies are plentiful, and the economic forecast is about as cheerful as a wet beaver. Stay tuned, my friends. This Canadian saga is far from over. Who knows? Maybe next week we'll see Trudeau wrestling a grizzly bear for the last bottle of maple syrup in the strategic reserve. Now that would be a sight, eh? I'm Ron de Parmesan, and this has been another Newscat special report.